Welcome to this podcast.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys!
You should have gone to bed. I mean, figure if we're going to do this thing, we'll have the live of what it's like for us to set this up for the first time.
Yeah, no shit.
So,
dang
it.
dude, I'm tired. Good morning.
What's going on with you?
I don't know. Friday night, I didn't go to bed till probably.
You should have gone to bed.
I should have gone to bed. It's true.
Look at that. This isn't like a cheap freaking Warner Brothers movie. We get our title in like literally in the first couple of seconds.
Right there. No, I don't know. For some reason, I didn't go to bed till Friday night till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Just could not. It wasn't sleepy. Couldn't go to sleep. Couldn't go to bed. And then Saturday night, I went to bed probably like 1 after coming back from the dirt track. And then last night, for some reason, 2 o'clock in the morning, like no reason, like not work, just not sleepy for some reason. Which now I will say I slept till, well, Sunday morning. You called me. You called me Sunday, or you texted me Sunday, and I had literally just woke up not too long before that. And I
was heading golfing.
And I can't remember when that was.
Your time would have been like 10 after 8.
Okay, that sounds about right.
Yeah, because we left. It would have been about 8:15 or so your time, because we left at 7:15 to head to the golf course.
Yeah, and so I got up and kind of walked around the house, and everybody was still asleep. But my nephew spent the weekend with us and went to the racetrack with us Saturday night. It was the first time he had went to the races, and everybody's still asleep. So I came back in and put TV on, was laying down. Next thing I know, it was like 1 o'clock. I woke up. So it was pretty lazy. I felt like anytime I do that too, I feel like crap. I just feel like I've wasted my day, slept it away or whatever. But
well, that's what we took. Mikey and I took people bow fishing. We had Pierce from X Vision, and then Jeremy Apple, I think it is, with e-bikes Pro. We took them bow fishing on Friday night, and they wanted to shoot 100 fish, and we joked about it. We started on the first lake. We didn't see. Literally just went for a boat ride. I mean, that was it. We just went around. Then we went in, put back into Sweets, where I took you and Kyle, and ended up shooting 75. But same deal. I got
that
home
same spot.
Yeah. Oh, and there was 10 times more. So what we ended up finding out was that where we went down with you guys in that back channel that went to that circle, that's the same place we had Molnick's, and we shot 39 with you guys, 38 with him. That back channel, when we got in there, it was a lot muddier because the wind was out of the south. So the wind was pushing all the mud that we were dragging with the boat. And the water from when you and Kyle were there is down probably another foot.
That's what I was going to say. I remember you saying that when you took Molinex, there was no water there. So did y'all get any rain and get some water or no?
No. So I think they're draining it. I don't know if they can get it lower than they already have. It always is low, but this is ridiculous. But we talked to some other guys out there who said that the DNR is supposedly draining it completely dry and going to redig some areas out, which I don't know. They're going to have a tremendous fish kill if they do that, which they're invasive species. They want them all dead. It just takes my fun of getting to kill the bastards out, So it is what it is, I guess is what we'll say with that. So, but no, we had all the time. We got the boat going and stuff. But we found when you guys were there, was there a lot of lily pads all over the place?
No, I remember some, but not. I don't remember a bunch of them.
So now, anywhere outside of the channel is grown up in lily pads, and what we found is that it sounds crazy, but in an inch and a half, 2 inches of water, the carp will bury themselves down in the mud. So they'll put 3 to 4 inches of their bodies down into this mud, and then they still only need an inch and a half, 2 inches of water, and they can swim. And what we found is these carp were all laying up under these lily pads in 2, 3, 4, 5 inches of water. Mm-hmm. And so we were able to push up in there with the boat. And so we just push up, you'd see lily pads moving, and you'd sit there. Well, it was shallow, so the fish were struggling to get out. And we, from 1 till 4, we probably shot 40 of our fish, 45, 50 of our fish. I mean, it was insane. We'd just get in those lily pads and hammer. And we missed. I mean, Jeremy and Pierce both said, like, they've never shot that much in their life, And these guys go to the river all the time and stuff. And we were joking about, the difference is you shoot bigger fish on the river. It's clear. You can see in most cases, But where we're shooting these fish, it's stupid. There's so many fish and they're captive. So,
Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun. And then just to keep everything rolling that way with it, we put together a cool little tiki-taki that I sent out. And I just some stuff to make Amanda happy. She loves tiki-takis. So.
Well, I will say when I went with y'all guys, man, y'all got me hooked. Now all I'm doing is sitting around looking for a cheap boat to build out for a boat fishing. And so Saturday I had to take Mackenzie to her Silver Air Patrol stuff, and we go across the Rocky Mount Reservoir to get to where we're going. Well, like I have never paid attention before of like where carp could be, but now I'm like, and there's these little marshes in the middle and these little grassy spots. And I was telling Kenzie, I was like, I gotta get a boat. She's like, why? I was like, because I can guarantee you we could go out there and shoot some carp.
Oh yeah.
And she's like,
dude,
you
we
just
can go through.
obsessed. I was like, that literally is the most fun I've had on a boat in I don't know how long. And I've done it all from bottom fishing to big fish offshore fishing. I mean. It's just so. I mean, because you're out there in the big water and you're just trolling for hours, just trolling right along,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you hit a big fish and you fight him for an hour and a half, and it's like that whole time it's exciting and this, that, the other. But like out there, man, I mean, it's
that,
constant.
the other.
Oh yeah, like the whole time you're out there.
Well, and it takes finding fish too. I mean, it's just like anything. Once you find where they're at, you're going to be on them. But the fish will move and stuff. We're fishing areas that are captive. So those fish can't go anywhere. When we go to the river, don't get me wrong, we do a lot of shooting, but like those guys, 30, 35, 40 fish night's a good night. South Dakota Worlds was this weekend. They just killed a ton of them over there. So, I mean, there's areas, it just depends on where you're at, where you can find those fish. And there's good nights and bad nights in anything you do. So anyway, we should probably introduce our new format. And should we start out and do people introduce themselves in podcasts like every day? I know on Door Bumper Clear, I was thinking we should name this podcast Clear Door Bumper.
Clear Door Bumper.
Right? Like, yeah. So like, as in like getting past, right? Like if you hear everybody talk about that, we're one of the cars they talk about as being in the back all the time. We should just rename our stuff. But I don't know. They introduce themselves all the time. I don't know if we should or not.
Nah, I think we would do what we said.
So we're
earlier.
good.
Yeah, we're good. We just keep going and let it roll.
We just come here and talk about whatever the we want. And they
Pretty
do
much, yeah. That's what I'm doing.
Like if you don't want to listen to it, move on.
Yeah,
what's the USA bag? Did you go to the USA store?
That's my fireworks I bought. My fireworks I bought at Myrtle Beach the other week. Yeah.
Are fireworks legal where you guys are at?
No, not North Carolina. South Carolina they are, but not North Carolina. So when you cross when you cross the North Carolina border into South Carolina, the first thing you see is a fireworks building.
That's the way it is when you leave Iowa and go into Missouri or to Illinois.
Yeah.
Or to Wisconsin.
Yeah. So everybody
so
you're illegal except for you. Is that how that works?
Pretty much. And we're legal. We'll have fireworks stores like crazy now.
Yeah.
Our fireworks are legal like July. It's like I think it's like a week or like I don't know. There's certain city ordinances. I don't know. I don't pay attention to all that stuff because if I'm going to shoot them, I'm going to shoot them.
Yeah.
But I think we have like a week or 3 or 4 days where it's legal to shoot them around the 4th of July.
Well, see now there's some of them that are legal in North Carolina, but it's the ones that they're not fun. They're just the ones that just sparkle out the top,
like bank snaps and shit.
Yeah, stuff like that. The ones I've got mortars over there.
Oh yeah, yeah, like the 3 and the 6 inch shells. Like when you drop this thing, your neighbors think that there's like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
that's what I do. I think I still have a bunch. Probably 2-3 years ago, I bought piles. No, I think we shot them off last year. So last year we had a little redneck party out here, and shot a bunch off. But dude, fireworks are about the coolest thing. Yeah,
they are absolutely. Yeah, well, I'm planning on. So I think being that I can work from home and can pretty much work from anywhere, I think we're gonna go down to my mother-in-law, and I'm telling my boss this for anybody listening.
Your boss probably don't care. As long as you get stuff done, I don't care.
We're gonna go down, probably go down the week of July 4th to my mother-in-law's place down at the beach and just stay there all week, and we'll probably shoot them off of her dock while we're down
out
there.
Over the water.
Yeah. So she lives on the Intercoastal Waterway. Which is really cool because you let it sit out there, man. You'll see anything from, of course, normal boats going by to multi-million-dollar yachts to dredge it. I mean, it's cool just to see just what comes through there. Plus all the dolphins, man, just up and down, and the whole time the girls love to sit out there and watch dolphins and stuff. And I'm not a good son-in-law. I probably have not been to her house. Ugh. When was it? Was shoot, man, it was probably August of last year. Which I mean, COVID goes. You know, COVID.
You're still in that squeaky chair.
I am, and you're still in the
You
one
should
that
talk to your
hard.
boss. Yeah, I am. Hey, supposedly this week my new chair is coming. Sadie has been promising this for weeks.
Well, I know that the other day when we were on a call and you were like, Amanda, talk to Ray because the UPS guy here got over here. She came and sit down. She's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to talk to you about. I was like, well, let's talk about Andy's chair. I was like, is Sadie making it at home? Is she cutting?
That's what I said.
Like, I'm imagining she's cutting out like she's got that Glow Forge thing, right? So I think it's her laser thing. It's called a Glow Forge, I believe.
Oh, that's fancy terminology.
Yeah, I mean, she's
okay. No, I don't know what that is, but yeah, she has one of those things.
Yeah, so it's a pretty much big machine. It's a laser. You can cut wood and engrave like small, like thin wood.
Yes,
engrave leather, engrave all that stuff. I could just imagine her cutting out pieces to your chair, and she's building it at home.
I think so. And well, she was supposed. Me and Molnix both have been like since January waiting for our new chairs, but apparently COVID has shut down chair production overseas or something. I have no idea. So we always like the local dirt track here. You can carry a cooler in, right? And you can carry a cooler in the NASCAR, can't you?
No, they cut that out.
No, you can carry it in clear backpacks.
Yeah, you can carry it clear as long as it's
I need to go buy a clear backpack.
We got to talk to Brock. If we can figure out how to make a clear, soft-sided cooler that actually works, I think we can make some big money on that. Because now, like, there's got to be a way.
I don't know how we do. I don't know how we do that.
Air's an insulator, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't got to be a big frig that can hold ice for 8 days.
Okay, I was going to say, because when we go to roto mold like that, you're not going to get that to be a see-through. There's so much insulation in that.
Yeah. But no, so like, because at the race at Memorial Day at Charlotte, like people were taking just the clear bags and stuffing them with ice and beer and stuff and toting them in. There was one girl, there was these two girls standing there, me and my cousin walked by, and they had like 6 bags full of cheerleader beer. And that's my new favorite term too, by the way.
I do too. I love it too. I've never heard it before. I can fit that into a conversation. Yeah. Just like, oh yeah, cool. Let's do some cheerleader beer. Well, because Pearson, Jeremy brought cheerleader beer onto the boat, so I was just super excited about it. No, they brought on those half and half, like Arnold Palmer things. Like, I don't know. Have you seen that? It's like
that's not considered cheerleader beer, is it?
I'm considering it a cheerleader beer. If it comes in if it comes in a can and it's not beer, it's a cheerleader beer from here on out.
Okay.
Like, I don't know the true definition, but this is our definition. And if you're listening to our show, you can use our terms. That's how I see it.
True,
right?
True.
So I personally feel like if you didn't pour it from a bottle, if you just open the can and it's not a regular standard old beer, it's a cheerleader beer.
I actually made a guy question. I don't know if he questioned his manhood or what he was doing with his life Saturday night at the racetrack. But we were sitting there and but anyway, before I get into that, so we stopped. I always load up with drinks and water and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm cheap. I don't want to go pay, $4 for a bottle of water at the racetrack. Plus the line, they need to do something about their concessions. Like, here's the problem with me and like running companies and managing events and stuff. Anytime I go to something like that, I'm looking around thinking about how much better it could be done. Right.
For sure.
So ever since we've been going this year, I hadn't been there in several years. We started going back this year because the girls have gotten more interested into wanting to go to the dirt track watching racing. Like,
I got to buy you a new chair.
Look, I don't even sit in this chair when I work. I work in
every time you're excited and you start moving, I can just hear. I'm like, this boy's in the bedroom, and now people aren't going to be watching this anymore. So they're just hearing it, and they're just going to hear your chair squeaking and wonder what the hell's going on. Anyway, sorry, go ahead. So I am a squirrel.
Yeah. So anyway, so the concession line, number one, you go stand in the concession line, you're there 20, 30 minutes. Number two, like they take one person's order and fix that order, and then before they take the next person's order. And I'm like, yeah, there's got to be a way. But the PA announcer is a dead ball-faced lie, because every time here comes the line 2 concession stand short, y'all better get down. And you go down there and it's like 20 people deep, But anyway,
maybe that's short. Maybe that's short. Maybe his meter starts at 20 versus 30.
Yeah, I mean, but
you just never know.
I think the first weekend we went down there, I went to the line like 3 times to get something, and finally was like, screw this, I'm not standing in line anymore, because missing heat races and stuff like that. But so that's why we go. But anyway, I stopped at Sheetz, man, and like the coolers were empty, like no Coke products. Like we got a shortage on everything going on right now.
Stopped at where?
At Sheetz.
What's
y'all
that?
Don't have
Is that a gas station?
Yeah, it makes, like, as far as size wise, it makes Casey's look like a little mom and pop store on the side of the road. It's not a Buc-ee's by any means, but it's
size of the store. I think I've been to a Sheetz. I think,
and they got a really nice food thing. You can get anything.
Do they got Casey's
tacos.
pizza?
They do not have Casey's pizza. I will give you that.
So they still suck.
I mean, they don't suck, but it would be nice if they had some pizza that was good as Casey's pizza. That would be nice. I mean, you can get pizza there, but it's Sheetz. S-H.
I think Casey's has like 3,000 stores, don't they?
I don't know. I never heard of a Casey's until I saw it.
Convenience store. There's a Sheetz towing. I'm looking this up. I'm looking the Sheetz up, man. That's what I'm doing right now. The
Sheetz up.
But you can order online food. They got pretzels. How many stores does this place have? I'm listening.
But so we go in there, and I'm sitting there, and we're watching the races or whatever, and I saw these 2 guys behind me, and they were drinking cheerleader beer and this, that, the other. And I turned around and I said, hey, did y'all want real beer? Y'all gonna drink cheerleader beer all night? And the guy literally looks at his can and goes, you just ruined my life. It was hilarious. But it was good times, man. So I took my nephew, he's 6. He's been asking to come spend the night with me forever, like the weekends or whatever. And, traveling and all, it's just been tough. And finally this weekend I knew I was going to be home. So I called myself, we were over there last Monday we were over there last Monday, had a crab bowl for Memorial Day. And you're going to enjoy my nickname from them. But, I am a junior, actually Ray Page Jr. Well, I don't know, at some point somebody couldn't, and my family, all of them call me Junior. That's what they call me. And at some point, one of the little ones couldn't say Junior, so it turned into June. So now I am affectionately known as June. So, so Hunter is like, June, can we come? I was like, yeah. I was like, bud, you come spend the night next weekend. So I took him to the race. He thoroughly enjoyed it until the late model started running and started peppering you with a cloud of dust coming on. And it was pretty bad. I
want to get to some dirt track racing. We've got a local dirt track about 30 minutes away. There's a couple around here that I think Independence runs pretty regularly. I need to look into it. It's just, it seems like when we're not gone to a race, it's tough to get to a race, and I don't know I think Delaney would enjoy it. I don't know how much Bo would enjoy dirt track. But it's just, if it wasn't for all the crowds of people and stuff, I think he'd be fine. We've had him to him when he was younger. Yeah. Up in Wisconsin, but
we took like the only thing
early mornings.
Yeah, no doubt. The only thing I didn't do was carry goggles or glasses for him. That was my mistake. I should have, but I carried earmuffs because I knew it might, loud might hurt his ears or whatever. And he put those on. He was good to go. Like watching all the races until the late model. We had it's called the Fuel Series of late models, and it's just a series that runs up and down 95. So I'm right on 95, and there's there's four or five dirt tracks that like literally run up 95. You get off 95 and they're literally like 5 miles off the road. So it's the I-95 Fuel Series is what they call it. So they had 22 late models running this little dirt track, which I thought was going to be really cool until they started and couldn't get through the second corner. They tried to start that race 5 times and had to go to single file starts to get it going. And then once they got it going, it was just gone, 40 lap feature gone. But it was still a good time. But it was interesting with him. And the cool thing is, like, so of course, they did the heats or whatever, and then so to try to get him interested and and see if he liked it. I was like, all right, Hunter, what car do you think is going to win? Of course, he always picked the car that was on the pole.
Yeah, can't blame him.
Can't blame him.
They already won. Don't they call that winning the poll?
Yeah.
So hey, pick the winners.
Yeah. So he always picked the one on the pole, and they were the car that won. Pretty much, yeah. It was 5 features, and everyone that started on the pole won. And so he was 5 for 5, and you couldn't tell that little dude nothing. He dropped him off.
He already knew enough about it.
Oh yeah. Dropped him off at his, went to and dropped him off at his mom or at his house yesterday. And that's the first thing he's like, I picked all the winners. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, I looked at my sister. I was like, yeah, he picked everybody that was on the pole. She's like, well, that's pretty smart. I was like,
it's exactly.
So.
It'd be like when the odds are stacked in your favor, right? And that's one of the fun things to do at dirt tracks. Whenever we go, we always have everybody in the group gets to pick a car, and you just kind of go through and keep track of where it is. And sometimes it's fun to pick somebody back, and it's just. It makes it more interesting to do something. And that leads to what we talk about all the time with hospitality, where we're taking people to races and stuff like that, is it changes the game to be at NASCAR and to have a dog in the fight.
Even if that dog is not going to win.
It's exactly right. Nobody cares whether you
see what he's going to do, and
to see somebody win is one thing, but just being there and having somebody to root for, having somebody to cheer for, having somebody to be pissed off about, somebody to give you a reason to drink, whatever the case is, it just matters to have a dog in the fight. And that makes it all that much more fun, even if you don't even know who it is, right? Like I picked the 11 car. Which car? That one, when you get into those modifieds, I want 11A, right? There's a couple different ones out there, but
that's the only thing about dirt tracks that irritate me, I guess, because asphalt tracks, you don't have that for the most part. Like you go up north, you might have that where you have like the 123 and the 23 on the track, or the 23A or whatever.
Yeah.
Asphalt tracks around here, you don't have that. Like I've literally seen them come in and like you can't run that number, and they have to cover a number up or do something different. But because of a local guy,
how do they do that? Because it all comes down to who the local guy is.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much.
But I mean, if you're
first, or who registers first, or if you're a local guy that runs that track all the time.
I was gonna say, because when those guys are all traveling, they're not in a match series or anything like that.
Yeah, nah.
So I get it.
Yeah, so one year we were running late models, and a friend of ours, he had kind of got out of racing and wanted to get back in. Well, we still had our super stock. No, we had not jumped to late models yet. We were still running super stocks. We had just built a new car, and he wanted to run some, but didn't want. So we had our old car. So he come over, and this guy was, he was probably one of the smartest guys around here locally. I know about building cars and stuff, and he went through that whole car and changed a bunch of stuff. And but we were the 41. Well, both cars were already painted. He didn't want to paint the car. He just wanted, because he was going to be driving it or whatever. So he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do about the number, this, that, the other. And I was like, don't worry about it, man. We'll have it. We'll figure it out, whatever. So he shows up the next day to load up, and I've got Junior painted on the by the 41. He was pissed. Like, I ain't going out there with 41, Junior. That ain't happening, da da da. But But so there were 3 cars in that race Sunday night that were the 23. The 23L, the 23, and I don't even know what it was. And so I'm looking at the board, and all of them are running close together too, because the same guy owned 2 of them.
Yeah,
it's
you'd think he'd be smart enough to use 2 different numbers.
Yeah, well, they call it, so he owns the supposedly, and this is just from what I was talking to one of the guys Saturday night. He owns one of the largest sweet potato production plants in the country out of Smithfield, North Carolina, which is 20-30 minutes from me. So his main car, which is the 06, is called the Sweet Potato Express. That's I
thought it was number 23. So he owns 3 cars. The 06 and 23.
06, yeah. So that's the car he puts his hot shoe in. Is
there any chance he owns 11 23s?
No, he has not. He does not own them. So he owns that car, and that's his going to the big races winning car. His other car, he drives one of them, which I think is the 23L, and he was fast. He was in the top 4 or 5, and then he owns another one, 23, that somebody drives. I don't know who, but so it was a little confusing. That's the only thing about dirt racing I don't care for. But there's only so many numbers in the numerical order. So what do you do?
I believe there's infinity numbers.
Yeah, but how you fit number.
So here's the deal: when there's only 20 cars,
in the 1,324 car.
But my point is, though, is if you're only starting, and I get it that they double numbers up because of the way it is, but in a series like that, if you have to pre-register, they could assign a number or something. And a lot of these guys have a reason they want to run their number, and I get it.
Yeah, and see, some of the like that, and the way that series runs, they show up to the local short tracks, and the local guys will run with them. So, you know, it's not like it's a touring thing where if you're not part of that series, you don't race, you know?
Yeah.
There was $3,000 to win Saturday night, and they were going after it. But it's been so dry. Yeah, it was been so dry here, man. It was really, really. Even the 4-cylinder modifieds were kicking up a bunch of dust. So
6:45, Molnick's pulling in. He's ready to go to work.
He's ready to go to work, or he knows we're recording podcasts.
I don't know.
We can
really don't know. We're about to find out. He'll be coming in. I think I unlocked my door. He comes in through my office because why not? Everybody does. I can't wait till we build the new offices. Dude, we get UPS, and the UPS guy, the mail guy, I like him and stuff like that, but I'm on calls all the time, and as you guys can see, the door behind me, for those who can see this, the door's right behind me. So when people come in, it just kind of puts everything to a standstill when you're doing stuff, you know? So
speaking of morning.
Ooh, look at you. What'd you get burned on your wrist?
Yeah,
What'd you do?
I was on a 10-hour ride on Saturday.
So that's a motorcycle summer? Y'all gotta see this shit. Come here.
Oh, I know about those motorcycle burns.
Dude, it's like 2-inch by 5-inch square. I guess that wouldn't be a square, but show Ray this little thing. Look at this is where he got his son.
I had my gloves on and I had a long sleeve shirt on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I put sunblock on too late.
It wasn't a long enough long sleeve shirt.
No, well, when you're riding, it slides up.
So when I first started working at the Harley shop, I used to give the guys a bunch of shit that rode around that wore the cut off sleeve shirts, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is the stupidest looking fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
What?
I can't hear him. What
he's making fun of people who ride around with cut off sleeves on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I used to until like I got to riding and like you think a normal farmer, like I've got a normal farmer's tan. I hadn't been to the tanning bed in a couple weeks and hadn't been out in the sun a whole lot, so I might need to hit that up again. But here we go. But like, actually, believe it or not, I was laying there last night. Was it last night or this morning? And I was thinking about all y'all now that half of my employees use tanning beds, and half of my employees being the male half of my employees. The female half, like Amanda tans, and one of them spray tans. Yeah. Madison, who's our new editor, chief editor. Yeah,
we need a name for Madison.
She would be producer. She
producer.
Yeah, she's the producer now. I got demoted or either I don't know. Did I get demoted just to?
So who's in charge of this shit show? Because like I thought we were gonna have ideas of like topics that we were using, and now
I was thinking. I started last night to sit down and like do that, but
I still think we should have some topics.
We'll get there. I mean, there'll be shit to talk about, but I mean, here's the thing. All right, we keep talking about the reason we started this was because we get on the phone and talk, and so that's what we're gonna do. But
so Madison is our new producer now that we've changed our style. So now 30 minutes in, we should let people know that we're not doing this live anymore because as much as we want to interact with you guys, Facebook sucks ass. That's what it comes down to. So when we do this live on Facebook, we end up with 140 comments and like 130 people reached, right? So the reality is we probably won't reach 130 people this way for a while, but we're going to have Madison. We're still recording this with video. For all of you who want to see the inside of the studio, hashtag my office, hashtag Ray's bedroom.
Where the magic.
But so we're still there's certainly fireworks in that bedroom.
That's right.
Right now.
That's right. That's gonna be my new line, dude.
Dude, that's exactly right. Now I'm gonna do the same shit. I'm gonna go to the store today and I'm gonna buy some fireworks. So I'm just gonna keep them in the bedroom. That way, when anybody asks, I can be like, "That's where the fireworks are, right there, boy. That's the bedroom. That's where the shit goes down." That's right. Oh, I'm not mature enough to do this. But anyway,
Madison,
this is why you have to.
We just got the name of this episode where the fireworks happen.
Yeah, where the fireworks happen. That's exactly right. Well, and that's I have no idea what I was talking about. Anyway,
we were talking about the new format we're doing. And
30 minutes in. That's right. So Facebook sucks. We'll recap that. As far as not letting us reach anybody, so we decided we just do this as a live podcast, not a live podcast, as an actual podcast. And that means Madison's going to edit this. Amanda is going to pop in and out. we're going to pretty much let anybody on anytime you want. So if you're ever bored between 6 and 6:30 on a Monday morning, Central Standard Time, 7:30 on an Eastern Standard Time, join us on a podcast. We don't care. Come on in. Like, look, here's the deal. We're not famous. If we get 6 people listening, that's 6 more people that are going to be educated the way we think people should be educated. So we're still recording this live. Do you record it any other way but live?
I mean, it's not live on Facebook. We're recording.
It's not live on Facebook. We're recording. It just says live in the top left corner of our screen.
We're recording it. We video, and it. Madison's going to edit it for podcasting, but then she's also going to put it on, I think, a YouTube channel. I believe is what we're doing.
Yeah, that's what she was talking about doing for the whole video of that, and then she's going to cut out clips that she thinks are funny. Yeah. And so this isn't us. This is Madison. She's the one who gets to choose what's funny and what's not. So. Yeah. Listen, for me and Ray, we know it's funny the whole time. We wouldn't do this if we knew we weren't funny. So we're just funny the whole time, like whatever. So it is what it is. Again, it is what it is. This, that, and the other.
And Divers is going to be joining us, but I'll be totally honest with you. I forgot to send him a text message about this.
Oh, you didn't send him a text message?
So Divers, I apologize if you're listening to this later, but I will get with you today on the new format because we were trying to figure out a good time for everybody to do it, and Divers was going to get back with us. And I mean, I know he's got a crazy schedule right now.
So Divers' life has turned around because of the fact that now that the world has opened back up, his 12, 13, 14-month vacation has kind of gotten a little bit busier. Now, he wasn't on vacation as in not working at all. They just were extremely slow. It was a tough time. So, but things have taken back off. And now that it's taken off, things are extremely busy for Divers. So I'm sure he'll be back around and doing some stuff. But in the meantime, we can't just let everything die. Yeah. We have to keep going with this. So, but anyway, guys, the reality is it got really, really tough to make a commitment to be live at that time. We had stopped recording and we didn't stop recording. We stopped putting these out as podcasts. And the reality is that you can listen to it anytime you want now. You can listen to it while you're at work. You can listen to it anywhere. You can not listen to it at all. It's your choice. You can watch it. You can do whatever you want to do. But now you can watch it in sections and do whatever. So, but anyway, yeah, I like the title. This is where the fireworks happen. That's a good, I'm glad that I'm glad you have fireworks in there. That was good how we tied this up. So if you missed the first half of the show, you better rewind. Yeah. Go back and listen to that. Can you do you think kids even know what rewind means anymore? Think about this. What do you rewind anymore?
YouTube. I do a lot.
Do they call it rewinding?
I think so. I guess.
I don't know.
Because you're not technically winding.
No, you're just skipping backwards. I don't know if you rewind anymore.
I always wondered,
Madison, if you're listening to this, maybe this is where you do. So supposedly, she can do these little editor notes where she can make smart-ass comments to us, so that should be entertaining. I don't know if she will or not. Madison, by the way, you're not my employee during this time, so you do what you want to do and make it funny.
Editor Mike here. Since Andy and Ray have called me out, I figured I should pop in. According to Word Hippo, the term rewind isn't really obsolete, but the literal definition has changed to figurative. You could call it scrubbing forward or backward, but I think the terms fast forward and rewind are here to stay.
But we used to rewind tapes, we used to rewind cassettes, we used to all that stuff, right? So do you rewind a YouTube video?
I mean, technically no, but yes, I guess. So I always I always when I hear somebody saying or something like that doesn't make sense to me. I always where did that come from? And you think about it now, rewinding. I'll tell if I'm in the living room watching a movie streaming a movie from Netflix, and I'll tell the girls, hey, rewind that. And they'll rewind it. They know what I'm saying. It's not like it's a foreign language of what does that mean, Father?
Yeah.
So I guess that's where that answers my own question. That's where saying the stuff come from. I mean, it's based off when I was growing up. Exactly. Yeah. So when I was growing up,
just passed out.
We used to have to go to the video rental store
for sure, and they used to all have a sticker that said "Be kind, rewind." Right? You had to rewind it because nothing pissed you off more than you'd go rent a movie, bring it home, pop it the VCR, and it's at the end, and you're like, "You've got to be shitting!" Oh, because it was 5 minutes to rewind it.
Yeah, and it's a $2 fee for the ones around here if you dropped it off and didn't rewind it.
Holy cow!
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that was.
And see, I remember having the local. I remember having the local video stores, not like Blockbusters, but
sure.
Like just
we
the
had
mom and pop
VCR,
ones.
Video City Rental was one of the big
we
ones
had
around
Flix
here.
Video. There was two in Tarboro growing up. One was Flix Video. I can't remember the name of the other one. All I know the other one was in the mall beside the Chinese Bamboo Cafe.
What a great location.
Dude, the Bamboo
We
Cafe
should have had
was
Chinese
so
last
good.
night.
Oh, I hadn't had Chinese. Ooh. I hadn't had Chinese in a minute.
I'm ready to sit. I'm ready. All right, so let's talk about racing for a little bit, and then we can go back to anything and everything. So you were talking earlier when we were talking about dirt track, we were talking about number 23, and it made me think the 23 this weekend. So here's the thing that I realized with Bubba Wallace. I don't know if anybody got to watch any of the race this weekend, but Bubba,
he can't drive.
Here's what I'll say though, and we were in Sonoma. I'm not going to say he can drive or can't drive. That isn't the point of this, but he had a flat tire, tore the whole back end of his car up when the rubber came off and all that stuff. Went a lap or two down. He ended up finishing like 14th. Like, how is he managing to he's back in 30th all the time, but he still manages to be up there by the end of every race? Because I was like, well, Daniel probably took a big points advantage this week, but he really didn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, so main thing coming off of Sonoma this weekend, absolute dominance continues for Hendrick Motorsports. Another Kyle Larson win. That's back to back for him, right? He won Charlotte. Mm-hmm. So that's
3 for him this year, right? No, Charlotte. Yeah, because he won Vegas.
Yeah.
3 for you.
Yeah, so 3 wins for Larson already. So he's leading the way with that. I think isn't Denny still leading the points?
Yeah, man, I'm actually pulling up NASCAR right now, and I need to.
I know I can see because their background must be white because it looks like somebody shot you in the face with a paintball gun there. All
so I got to call Jake. I got to call Jake because as soon as you open LS Tractor, like I don't know what happened, it went right. Open NASCAR, the NASCAR page opened, then it went right to a Coyote page. So we got to talk to Jake about that. But yeah, so you talking about birds? Like I'm
some national.
Yeah. Sonoma results. Yeah.
So did you even watch any of the race?
I watched both days. Like Saturday, I got home and I watched probably the last 15 laps. Maybe I think I got home and it was the restart before the 47 was caught in that wreck. So I saw that. Okay. And then yesterday, I think I got back and there was probably 20 laps left. I think is what it is. So I watched the last of it, which. Just showed, of course, Henderson. I thought Truex was making a run at him at the end there because, I think he had won the last 3 races at Sonoma.
Yeah, he had. Well, and it was, because Elliott hasn't won there yet. But, he was gone. Elliott was, or not Elliott, Larson was just gone all day. So it was, he was super duper fast, and that's all there was to it. During the Xfinity race, so here's the deal. I don't know if NASCAR, I don't know if anyone at all involved in this understands what the pits were or how they worked. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Oh, for the Xfinity race?
Yeah, I don't get it at all. So they didn't have time pits. So you had a certain amount of time you had to sit if you were under a green stop, a green flag, and you had a minimum amount of time, a maximum amount of time under yellow, minimum amount of time under green. Okay, but what I was trying to figure out is in several situations where we pitted, from my understanding, you could not fuel the car and you could not do tires in the same stop.
Yeah.
Right? Even under yellow.
I don't understand that. I don't.
Safety, I guess maybe fuel can't be out. You're not going to have people changing tires and have a fire or something. So my understanding of this whole thing is they're claiming – But it's because the teams are less experienced. Here's what it comes down to. As we've been talking about, and as I found out, my daughter had this little game going this weekend where she asked a question. It was a school game where it's like, name 2 things you learned this year. And it was all like stupid school questions that you got to play and go through this whole thing, right? And the question that I ended up picking that she read to me was, name 2 things that you learned this year. So 2 things I learned already this year are A, NASCAR all revolves around who spends the most money. B, I don't have the most money by far. So that's what we learned. But and the reason I bring that point of this up is because the major teams, the teams that are super popular, have the followings and do all that stuff, their pit crews are Cup team pit crews. Yeah. So while we were racing in Mid-Ohio, those Cup teams were racing in California. So NASCAR changes their format, says it's for safety reasons, which, okay, maybe it is. No, it's safety reasons.
the reason they changed that format is because of what you just said.
But that's my point.
But it wasn't. It's not because of safety reasons.
No, they're claiming it was for safety reasons because these guys have less experience going over the wall. So that being said, we've had several times this year that we've had a person step over the wall for the first time ever for a live pit stop. There's no safety precaution on it for us as a team that's a lower budgeted team than some of these big teams. The reality of it is that the big money teams don't have their main guys, so they complain to NASCAR. NASCAR makes a change to coddle them, and it is what it is.
I don't know that I agree with that. That it would be assumption that I don't know what your
logic.
Yeah,
opinion. Sure, go with that opinion. Good. Let's argue about something. It's early enough in the morning for me to argue with you.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I think it's the simple fact of they don't want it affecting the points. Right?
Why should it not affect the points?
Because it's not the team's fault that now I agree with you.
How is it not the team's fault?
Because so it's the team. The teams. Going back, I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast or me and you just talked about it the other day. But when Chris Rice was talking about, Chris Rice was on Door Bumper Clear a couple weeks ago talking about the next gen car, and they started talking about the pit teams because they asked a question: well, are you going to have somebody that's so specialized now because they're going to the one lug nut, right? And how is that going to affect the cup pit crews on Saturday, going from 5 lugs on the Xfinity car to the cup cars where they're just doing one? Because now, these top tier cup pit teams, they practice 3-4 times a week and then, working out the rest of the time, right? So now, the guy that's changing tire, he's not going to have to practice hitting those. Where's 5 lugs. I'm getting there. So they were having this discussion about it, and Chris Rice made the comment. He's like, because that saves us a lot of money as the Xfinity team because we're not having to hire a full-time pit crew, and it saves the Cup teams money because we're helping pay those guys a salary, right? As far as Xfinity and this, that, the other. So, I think that's more of it than these Xfinity teams having all the money and having the best pit crews because of that. I think it's more. Again,
but that doesn't contradict my point. Why is it that when the big money teams can't have their rock stars there, they shut the entire thing down? That's my question. My argument is that they shut it down. If you're saying it's not for safety, so if it's not for safety, okay, so a lot of these guys probably went over the wall for the first time. These are guys that are working in the shop that don't always change tires, right?
I can guarantee. I would almost guarantee you that if a colleague racing, the guys that went over the wall this weekend was not their first time going over the wall.
For sure,
there's not. It's not colleagues. It's not the team that they normally use. Who I'm not sure. I know they get them from RCR. I don't know which.
You have no idea who they use.
I don't know which team they use, but whatever. Tell me why. Tell me why you can't fuel and pit. They did well. I don't know why. So
okay, but that's my whole deal. So what you're saying is that on a race where the handicap is eliminated, where we as a lower budget team have a better chance, right? Because if you don't have the elite athletes, everybody gets to use a JV team. Then they don't want it to affect the points. Then guess what? Eliminate that race. Don't let it affect the points.
So
no, but that's my point.
Yeah, well, my thought on it is you don't make that change. I'm sorry, you just have to go in there and deal with it. Why make what change? You don't make that pit change. It should just be normal pits. Why are we making all these special fucking concessions?
Okay, so you're agreeing with me. You're agreeing that NASCAR makes that change to help the teams.
Yeah, with the points, I agree with that. It's not a safety.
Because when you go in and you break it down, when you go through and you break it down, there's probably 10 or 12 teams minimum, probably 16 teams maximum that use Cup teams to pit for them. Yeah. So I'm going to venture to say less than half the field. I could be way off on that. Somebody who's more into NASCAR or something can probably tell me the truth or the exact number. But I'm going to say less than half the field uses a Cup team, and they make a change that affects the entire series based on those minimal amount of teams. So it works just like the United States government, right? That's the goal. Is what we do is we cater to the minority.
Yeah, we
100%. So my whole point is anytime there's an opportunity where things get equalized a little bit, NASCAR does what they can to change it. And whatever. Maybe that's the way it's been for a long time. My opinion is they did it for safety, with newer people coming over the wall and things like that. But to that point, I know of one guy for sure that works in the shop at MHR who's gone over the wall this year, and it was his first time ever as a front tire changer, first time ever going over the wall. And you know what? That's got to be intense. It's got to be there. And he probably had done less lugs in his life than some of these guys do on a weekly basis. And where's the safety concern for him? Like that's my whole point is so, and I'm not saying they did it because of safety. I'm saying that's my opinion. That's the only reason I could think of that they would do that.
Yeah. And I think you and I both agree. I think it's bullcrap that they do it. I think our views on why they do it, they may say it's safety. I don't know why they say it, but it's not safety. I don't, that's not the reason. The reason,
you go back to the caution that the tire out in the infield from several weeks ago, all this stuff. And it's just, it doesn't, I don't know. I'm not saying that it's, I'm 100% saying that this is just like Vegas. It's controlled. It's controlled by money.
There's no doubt. I mean, there's no doubt that.
How can I pick 9 of 10?
There's
How
no
can
doubt.
I pick 9 out of top 10?
Any race, you go to any racetrack in the world, the guy that spends the most money is going to be running up front, with exceptions in some instances. But
go back. Like my point is how this is all playing. And yes, am I saying this because we have a car that runs towards the back in a lot of races and we have friends back there and stuff like that? Anyway, it doesn't matter. There's fans of NASCAR for everything, and NASCAR continues. We'll see what happens when it goes to NBC in a couple weeks. But this week, what probably pissed me off more than anything during the Xfinity race was Austin Cedric got bumped, got spun in the wreck that a little bit like a half a lap later, whatever. But when Austin Cedric got spun, he kept it. He made a miraculous save, got it back on track. And then there was another accident that we were involved in that brought out the caution, right? Mm-hmm. They showed the accident one time. And I bet you we watched Austin Cedric's car spin at least 8 times. And they talked about how that was the reason for the caution. That had absolutely nothing to do with the caution. And it led me to realize that NASCAR, just like anything else, creates their own freaking storylines. They don't give 2 shits about what actually happens on the track, what causes anything, what it was. They basically made up their own storyline, and that storyline was Austin Cedric's spin is what brought out the caution so they could talk about what was happening at the front of the track, not what was happening in the rest of the pack. And the reality is that's crap. There's no real coverage for it. It was bad broadcasting in my opinion. I think Clint and Jeff are a lot of fun, Mike Joy, all of that stuff. But from a broadcasting standpoint or coverage standpoint, they really have done a poor job the last couple of weeks as I've been paying attention of covering the field, right? Like at least being accurate with what's going on the racetrack.
Yeah. So we talked about that a little bit last week. You and I did because of the 600 and how boring that race was. I mean, it was boring. I mean, but I didn't see any of the TV coverage, but my understanding is you pretty much watched the 5 just turn laps the whole time.
Yep.
And as there was some racing going on that track that could have, now they won a lot. I'm not going to say like there was great battles all through the back of that field, but there was some stuff that I feel like Fox could do a better job of. Search through the field, tell the story about, this guy and that guy battling for 20th place and to stay in the owner's points. And, there's stories.
And I don't even like, they don't have to make a huge storyline out of it. They probably don't have the data. They're probably not studying who a Kyle Weatherman is or any of that stuff. And I don't even care that they tell a story about it. My whole point is when there's a freaking accident on the track, show it more than once, right? Like, because I may be wrong. I know, Ray, when you watch racing for passing and racing up front and all that stuff, right? I watch racing for accidents. I watch racing for spinouts. I watch racing for people brushing the wall. I watch racing for this driver's mad, blah, blah, blah. That's what I look for, right? Like the passing up front is fun for me for 4 laps, but I really don't care who's leading on lap 16 of a 100-lap race. It doesn't matter to me. A pass for third is just as important as a pass for the lead, right? But when there's an accident on the track and they show it one time, there was 3 or 4 cars that took major damage in that accident, and Cedric had no damage from his accident.
Yeah, he had right front damage.
Did he?
Yeah, because they said it affected. He didn't get hit. It's just, I guess, when he went into the grass or something, it'd been a lower control arm or something like that, because they were talking about how it affected the car.
I just, if there was one of 8 or 10 cars that would have been involved in the accident further back, they would have made a huge ordeal out of that accident.
Yeah,
and they didn't.
I agree.
So that's part of it. And, these people, like on Door Bumper Clear, all this stuff, they talk about how these teams, these back market teams, these low budget teams, they're not as competitive. They shouldn't be on the track. They make this, that, blah, blah, blah. My point is that it's tough. It's tougher to sell that. It's tougher to market that because of the fact that you don't get the coverage. Even when you're in an accident, or even when stuff happens like that, there's no coverage for those cars back there. So there's a lot less coverage for sponsors. There's a lot less sponsor money to come in because it's not an equal playing field. So the reality is that, I guess, I'm really not bitching. I accept the platform to be what it is. But I just think some of these other people that talk and have these voices and stuff like that at some point should understand that this is not an equal playing field. Yeah, it's not an equal playing field at all. I mean, no matter what they show coverage wise or anything, or no matter how you look at it, the coverage is going to go to those top ranking teams, and rightfully so, I guess. But my point is, during a freaking accident,
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, but if you think about it, it's that way in every sport. It's a little differently, right? I mean, because you don't get it. You look at ESPN or whatever, and you during football season, who gets the most play? The bigger teams. The ones that are shit and they're at the bottom, they don't get highlights. They don't get. I mean, so it's through all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and I guess I would disagree with that, because in a football game, everybody's on TV.
I agree in the actual game, but the coverage of it afterwards, right? We can't compare. You can't compare the live or whatever, but
what I'm saying is that I'm not even talking the after coverage. I'm talking about.
I know. I'm just talking
literally during the live. They're not showing anything.
Yeah, no.
That'd be like when they're handing the ball off, they cut away to another play because they're like, well, this team's not very good, so we're not going to show anything about this team, and that's what NASCAR is doing.
It would be like Fox,
like you
said,
and I don't know how that
quarterback hands the football off to a running back, and all of a sudden they go over here. And I don't watch football, so I'm going to talk about people I know who are retired, but like they panned to Deion Sanders, who's covering this guy.
Oh, you're going old school. You're going like 99.
Because I don't watch football anymore. But instead of watching the play, like you said, instead of watching the play, they're over here looking at Deion Sanders guard this receiver that's not going to get the ball because they already handed it off. I mean, I get what you're saying there. I mean, it's tough, man. It's like, so when we were at the racetrack, it's kind of the same way we were talking at the racetrack Saturday night, because once that, like I said, that late model race, after it finally got going, after they had to get them single file to get the race started, it was just follow the leader for the rest of the, as far as the front three cars, the car that won the race, he probably had a good half a lap, 3/4 of a lap on the second place car. I mean, he just smoked their ass. But if you look throughout the rest of the race, there was some good racing going on. And Kenzie's like, well, that was kind of a boring race. I was like, did you watch the leader the whole time? She's like, yeah. I was like, well, look through the rest of the field. You see the passing, you see people like, and I like seeing wrecks. Don't get me wrong. I guess it's a little different. Like I've, coming up racing and having to fix it when it wrecks, it makes it a little different. But sure. I like wrecks, but I think for me, it's not so much the wrecks. It's the like Saturday night. There was several times that I was over there. I wasn't even in the car, and I was like, ooh, 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 because they were, going in, they were bumping, they were, that's the stuff. I think it's just the anticipation is what like gets me all excited. Yeah. But like the networks have to do a better job of looking through, not just talking about, hell, at Memorial Day, the 600. Kyle Larson won by 10 seconds.
Well, again, and Saturday was the same thing. Austin Cedric was up by 10 seconds. Go back and look at a AJ Allmendinger who won on Saturday, got a pit road penalty to start the last segment. He started 31st, and in 4 laps was in like 8th. Right? AJ can drive. Ain't nobody attesting that. I mean, but these cars, there is no. For sure. Yeah, but Austin Cedric is, I mean, you know, Cedric's good too. And Cedric had like a 12-second lead. There was, without Jeb's caution, which bred more cautions, there's no way that Cedric gets touched during that race. AJ was fast. There's no doubt about it. But it is what it is. And Jeb, I saw Amanda showed me a Twitter post where somebody had made a comment about Jeb wrecking on purpose or something like that. And I mean,
that's some bullshit.
And Jeb responded to it, which is crazy. I mean, he didn't wreck on purpose. He was racing hard. He locked the left front up, overdrove a corner, slid through. Because that's, I mean, when you break that down and think about it for people who don't watch racing a lot, I mean, think about the fact that when you lock your brakes up and you're sliding because you're going too fast, the only thing you can do is let off in order to try to regain steering. And they get like, there's like 20 feet before you're already through the corner at that point, which means you have 20 feet to make that decision at 80 mile an hour. And you're either going to let up and hopefully make the corner and spin out, or you keep them locked, you slide across, and then you go into the gravel pit, which was, you know, unfortunate for Jeb. But, you know, after they got him towed out and stuff like that, you know, I think he came back and finished 15th, 17th, something 16th. Like that. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, he was a lap down, and then the next accident that the 47 was involved in happened. And then he got his lap back and finished pretty well. Kyle finished 26th, I think. Yeah. Which was super frustrating because Kyle drove through the field multiple times, and we started 36, drove up to 24th, I think, pitted early on like lap 8. I'm not sure. We came in and took fuel, but then we never I don't know, and I'm not a crew chief. I don't know much about it. I know that we pitted off sequence, and then as soon as everybody else pitted, we got back on sequence. So that was confusing to me. But Kyle ran a heck of a lot better. I mean, we should have been a 16, 17 place car. The way things sat, it just, you know, we got wrecked. I mean, that's you know, we got hit in the front on the. Who was that wrecked? I can't think. It was not Tommy Joe.
Two guys got together. Yeah, two guys got together and spun, and then one of the guys, like, it just rang. Track. Yeah, it rang iRacing to me, because when people wreck on iRacing, they don't know how to hit the damn brake. So you always hear, like, hold the damn brake, because the guys will wreck, and then they're just pissed off, and they just, you know, take their hands off the steering wheel and like whatever, and the car just rolls back across track and takes the whole field out. It's happened numerous times. And that's kind of what it looked like with this guy's. Like, I don't know why he was spun, and then it was just like he spun up and then just rolled back down the track. Yeah. But
the same thing happened on Sunday, which took out Cody Ware and Ryan Priest got spun and went out into the grass and then came back, and he literally just drove it back onto the track. And Cody Ware had nothing. I mean, there was nothing he could do. He just absolutely smoked the ass in, wrecked both cars. But
yeah, and that's a product of road course racing a lot of times, because they know, like, if they can get it back going, they won't throw the yellow. So you don't want to be stuck at, you know, if you're kind of not in the, like in road racing moves, if you're not on the racing surface, sitting still, they won't throw a caution. I mean, because it's not as much danger there, you know.
But most of these guys know to sit a little bit. I don't know what the hell Ryan Priest was doing, but to just pull back onto the track. I mean,
trying to get back on and not trying to get back. It's like Ross Chastain yesterday when he spun in 11, grabbed the gear and cut through. Did they ever penalize him or move him back?
I don't know. You'd have to go back and review the coverage where they talked about what NASCAR was going to do, but then never gave anyone an answer because, you know, because because the coverage sucks. I mean, I think Clint Boyer is probably one of the funniest people up there. Yeah. And I know it's not on them. Like they're just doing what they're told to do in headsets and stuff like that. Clint and Jeff, and they do a great job. Just overall, the coverage doesn't cover anything as anything.
If it's not in that top 5, 10, they're not talking about it. And then, like you said, they'll give you a bunch of information about something, but never tell you the outcome of it.
Exactly right. So guess what? Next weekend, this weekend.
Oh, dude,
it's Monday. Guess what? This weekend it's Burnout Big Frig Alley, Big Frig Burnout Alley. So Ray and I, along with Brock and Amanda and everybody else, the Wolfpack crew, we will be hosting between 40 and 45 guests on the backstretch of Texas. One of our favorite places to be at Texas Motor Speedway. Burnout Alley, it's just freaking awesome. We're bringing the party, so We need to do something. Maybe we'll give away some fall tickets to that. Like, that's something we could talk about here in the next couple of weeks on this. Give away some fall tickets and have some fun with that. But it's going to be an absolute blast. I can't wait to get down there and get that going. We can't even release the cars yet.
No.
Yeah, jeez, it's just
silly.
silly.
It doesn't matter. I mean, this thing going. It's not going out tomorrow. We're hoping. Have we got
we'll let people see it. But the good news is, they're both printed. So we actually, Wolfpack this week we own both cars. So we actually have the 47 and the 74. We've got our sponsors on both cars for Texas, and the cars are cool. They're two really, really cool looking cars. I'm super excited about this. So you guys will have to follow the page to see what's going on with that. But otherwise, Ray, I say we make some picks for this week in Texas for the All-Star race. It's hard to pick for the All-Star race.
Yeah, especially the way they're doing the format.
I don't even know what the format is.
Oh, it's screwed up, dude. It's like.
So first off, I'm ready for dirt track on Friday night. Yeah, so Brantley Gilbert's playing. Some of the crew might be going to Brantley Gilbert. I'm going to dirt track racing because it's Texas. It's dirt track. Isn't there something like Friday Night Lights for Texas? Isn't that where that show is all filmed? Stuff, the football show. Yeah. So it's Friday Night Lights. I'm going to the dirt track. I'm excited as hell about it. And
I got chastised by my family because I said I was probably going to the dirt track instead of a Brantley Gilbert concert.
Yeah, like your family can go to the Brantley Gilbert.
My girls were like, "Why would you do that?" I'm like, "Because I'd rather watch race cars than Brantley Gilbert." And nothing against Brantley Gilbert. I like his music. I mean,
I'm going to the track. I'm fine with it, but going to a concert is, good. Concerts are open back up. That's cool. Yeah. I'm going to a racetrack. Yeah. I'm there for races. Yeah. But if your girls ever want to go to a concert, just we can get them tickets to concerts.
Oh, I know that. I mean, I'm not saying that, but they're just like they just don't understand why I would rather.
I got to ask Amanda. I got to ask Amanda what she wants to do. She can either be with me or she can go to a Brantley Gilbert concert. That's what it comes down to. I'm going to the racetrack for sure. Because that's going to be a lot of fun. Texas dirt, that'll be good. Thursday night, I'm not going.
No, why not?
I don't know. By the time we get down there, I'm thinking Thursday night. By the time we get down, we get the motorhome parked, we get all settled in, all that stuff. Maybe we just swing over, eat some dinner at that Big Shots, Top Golf. Yeah, whatever it is, that Top Golf thing. Let's go there and play that. Have a few drinks, few cocktails, and then we can head over, relax at the racetrack, and get stuff ready to go Friday morning.
We could probably get there, go eat at Big Shots, chill out there for a minute, come back, and still watch dirt racing. Because
I don't know what time the dirt race. Yeah, I don't know what time. I don't know how many cars are running or what. I imagine it'd be pretty busy.
I would imagine so. I mean, they're making a big deal out of it.
I just want to get done so we can get Friday ready, get all the stuff set up for the shows, both sides of the track, fan zone, all that set up, and be ready for the weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Get our golf cart picked up. Oh, I can't wait to have a golf cart drive us around. That'll be nice.
Yeah. We should have got Brock. Brock needs to print some vinyls to stick on that thing. We just have to make sure they get cleaned off before we leave. Mm-hmm. Just saying.
You read that contract. I'm not doing it. You can stick them on there.
You could. I know when I rented them in Daytona, you could actually have them put decals on it.
Yeah, you can pay other people to do it.
Yeah,
for sure.
As long as you clean it off good, get the adhesive off, you're all right. But
I'm not worried about it. Yeah. I think we'll probably make enough of a statement there.
We'll make it. Let's just carry some poster board and make some nice signs like it back in high school.
That we just hold up.
Just get some zip ties.
The drive just over to the passenger seat has to hold this. The big
get some zip ties.
It's the big friggin' golf cart.
Hey, Alyssa's like artistic, right? I mean, she's
she can draw some shit on her.
Yeah, she's big graphic artist. I think she could come up with some cool posters.
She could draw some stuff on there for sure. So
it'd be awesome.
All right, well, let's make. I don't know what the format for the All-Star race is. I don't even know if I want to talk about the All-Star race. I'm looking forward. Saturday's going to be awesome. So Saturday we got a truck race at noon, I believe. Truck race at noon, Xfinity race at 3. Yep. So Ray, I, possibly Amanda will be shuttling a few people in and out of the pits, taking them down, taking pictures with cars, doing all that stuff while everybody else drinks on the backstretch and Burnout Alley. So, maybe Ray and Amanda are going to be doing it.
Can you get a DUI on a golf cart?
I don't know if we'll get to drive it. Because we can't take it, because me and you can't take it down to the pits and park it down there.
Wow.
So someone's going to have to run us down and drop us off because they'll need it for picking people up and taking people over to fan zone and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, it just depends on what time it is. I guess so, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of people getting picked up at the fan zone and running back over and stuff like that. So we'll figure that out when we get rolling. But yeah, so I don't know what the format of this race is, and I don't know.
So the format is the starting lineup will be set by a random draw. This is the All-Star race, not the.
Let's see how random it is.
The first round is 15 laps. So you got one round of 15 laps. And then an inversion will take place, minimum of 8 cars and maximum of 12. It doesn't say how they're going to determine how many invert. My assumption is they draw a peel or something like that.
My assumption is that if Chase Elliott's running ninth, that they invert 8 cars. That's my assumption. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's hard for me. I mean, like, I get it, man. I mean, they won't, everybody. I just don't think that they fix it as much as people say they fix it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they just decide that pit stops will no longer be timed when the top teams in Xfinity.
They did it last year at the road course in Atlanta too.
So do it in Texas then this week.
Why? But the pit crews will be there.
My point is equalize it. Right? If you're going to do it one week, why not do it this week? It would change the game for us if we didn't lose spots on pits.
I agree with you, but at the same time,
so just don't say it's not fixed. It's fixed.
I don't know. I don't think they're doing it to.
It's fixed.
I do not think they're doing it to.
It's fixed.
To. They don't want. Okay,
is Bubba Wallace in this race? Is Bubba Wallace in the All-Star race? Has he qualified or is he racing?
I hadn't even seen like the van vote thing yet.
I saw a post on it the other day. Yeah, I think Bubba was in that.
So is
Bubba going to make fan favorite?
I mean, he would have last year had he not got wrecked. But, and I'm not saying, okay, so think about this too. Like everybody was talking about that, how it was fixed last year. But think about, he was the most searched athlete on Google last year.
I'm not saying that. I'm asking if he's the most searched athlete this year.
I don't think so.
Will Bubba Wallace be in the All-Star race? Yes or no? Does he either race his way in?
I'm trying to think who else is going to be in there.
Daniel Suarez, Tyler Reddick. There's a whole bunch of people in for the fan favorite voting. There's only like 13 cars, 15 cars. I don't know.
I still think I think he'll win the vote, and I think he'll win it legitimately. And not because of NASCAR fans. Not because of NASCAR fans.
Can I just ask this real quick question?
Yeah.
When you vote for fan favorite, it doesn't give you any results. Remember we were voting for Darlington where it showed the percentage.
I was going to say, let me ask you this.
It doesn't show anything. When I went in and because I did vote, it didn't show anything.
So let me ask you this. Kyle Weatherman won the vote for the paint scheme in Darlington.
And they never mentioned it on TV.
They never mentioned it. No, they never mentioned it. But what was it set up by NASCAR?
Was what set up by NASCAR?
Him winning.
No.
Okay, well, if NASCAR was going to set something up like that, why wouldn't they?
They would have controlled the vote because NASCAR wasn't in charge of that. Darlington Speedway was in charge of that.
That's true. But
it was done on Darlington's website, not on NASCAR's website.
I don't think that. I mean, I just don't think that NASCAR manipulates stuff as much as people think they do. I personally don't, and I may be very wrong, but I just personally don't. I don't know.
But that's probably why there's all these. I think
there are only 17 drivers. Let's see. There's only 17 drivers that have clinched an All-Star spot.
Yep.
So are they only going to run 18 cars then?
No, because they still race in. They do the racing.
Oh, I know 5. They do the racing at 5. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's 5. That's right. And then the boat. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think honestly, all jokes aside, the way that he's got to finish in the top 5.
How many are going to run in there? Is it top 5 that qualify? How many cars are going to run in it?
Let me see here. I've got the page pulled up, but it actually didn't say anything about the pre-race, whatever. But so here's the All-Star.
What it comes down to is the reality is there's going to be one of 10 cars that wins this damn race.
Oh yeah,
right.
Well, here's
we don't even care who's in it.
Yeah, here's the race format. Well, you can't say that. Did you think McDowell was going to win Daytona?
Daytona's it's a wild card.
All these races at some point can be a wild card. Let's put that can.
I disagree.
What about the guys that have won races because of rain? Guys that have never won before, even mile and a half. I mean, you just never know, man.
You mean so when?
But I agree. I understand what you're saying.
When NASCAR can't control it.
So you're saying NASCAR controls every race that the Cup cars run?
No, I'm not saying
they fix every race. Is what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying NASCAR fixes races. I'm saying NASCAR is built the way the system is built right now. It controls certain things for it. Yeah, NASCAR throwing caution flags and stuff like that at certain times. Absolutely. If you think NASCAR didn't throw caution flags for Dale Jr., you are absolutely insane.
I mean,
serious.
It's.
Who won the race when they called it because of rain in Coda?
Oh, it was Chase Elliott. I mean, I don't agree with that. Did
Chase Elliott have enough fuel to finish that race?
Yes.
He did, really, because even his crew chief said they were 3 laps short. That's why Kyle Busch, who was whooping everybody's ass, had pitted along with about 6 or 7 other cars, and then the caution came out and they shut it down.
You think you think NASCAR? So you're saying NASCAR manipulated that through that race to Chase Elliott?
I'm saying when NASCAR threw the caution flag for the rain, Chase Elliott was in the lead.
So you're saying NASCAR fixed that race for Chase Elliott? If you're going to say it, say it.
Hurt it. Fine, yeah. I'm saying that. I'm saying that that's when it came out.
It's hard for me to. I don't know, man.
Go back to the broadcast.
And I'll go back to the local racetrack.
How many laps did Chase Elliott lead during that race?
I couldn't tell you, but what I can tell you is Chase Elliott is a monster on. I mean, you just look at yesterday. Who did it come down to yesterday? It came down to Chase and Kyle Larson, right? I mean, and Kyle Larson beat his ass. So I just don't think NASCAR. I think there was a piss poor decision to throw that caution at all at Coda. I don't think they threw that caution because Chase Elliott was in the lead. I think they tried.
I'm saying that it didn't hurt their opinion on it. I'm saying that if someone else is in the lead of that race, if that is a Spire car leading that race, they race.
I don't think so. Because at that point,
we'll never know. Because last year when it was at Indy and it was raining so hard you couldn't see a freaking thing, they stopped that race too.
You mean
at the Roval. Charlotte at the Roval.
Sorry, they didn't stop that race.
Oh, that's right. They raced in the rain when it was pouring.
But you got to
it was raining harder there than it was at Coda.
Interesting. So when I was listening to podcasts this morning while I was taking a shower, I'm a couple weeks behind, and it was the Coda podcast.
Yeah, what was their opinion on it?
So their opinion on it was, well, honestly, they didn't address when the caution come out. They were addressing the safety of the drivers at that point, and this, that, the other. And Freddie was the only one that spotted last year in the rain. And Freddie's take on it was that he didn't see the need for the caution. And all of them, actually, every one of them at that point in the race, is like everybody was spread out enough. At that point, you're not racing the other drivers. You're racing the track and the conditions, which I agree with, right? Yep. That's why, I mean, I know we talked about it. That's, at that point, you're a professional stock car driver. You're going to be you're hydroplaning down this long, super, super long backstretch. You should probably lift off a little bit. I know you're trying to beat the guys behind you, but at the same time, you got to finish the race to win the race. So they kind of agreed with that. But what was interesting was Freddie was talking about, he's like, at the Roval last year, he said, I had no problem seeing my car at any point on the track. He said, I could see fine. He said, I could spot it. It was
dark last year.
Well, I mean, at the end of it, right at the end, but they didn't.
You mean like the last 6-7 laps?
Yeah, but he said he could still see. He had no problem visibility-wise as a spotter. Now, the drivers, on the other hand, they were having some visibility, he said, but nothing like that, because the biggest thing, they said the biggest difference in that whole scenario was that super, super long backstretch. He said everywhere else on the track, he said, you still, like some of the spotters they had around the track, had a lot of issues seeing the car. So there was that one issue at Coda. For some reason, number one, they said the spotter stands at Coda were shit anyway, regardless of rain or not. They couldn't see like they needed to. Number one. Number two, the rest of the track there was no issues, right? I mean, there was an occasion where Kurt Busch slid through and about took out his brother, and I can't remember who the other car was. But the majority issues was on that super long stretch. And that what they were saying is like, even at like the Roval, there's not that much of a straight shot. They're not even going down the backstretch of Charlotte. They're not hitting 180 miles per hour because of that chicane they got in there and coming all, this, that, the other. So it was a little bit. It was a lot.
My
different.
point is, to what you're saying, it rained all day. I was at the race. It rained all freaking day. Yeah. They had the same conditions all freaking day. They called the race.
It got worse because they did bring the jet dryers.
There was times it was raining and all that throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, but they brought the jet dryers out and blew that backstretch off and all that job too. So I don't think that they threw that because Chase Elliott. I think they threw it because they had to throw it at that point. And I think
they threw it because there was a wreck earlier in the race, right? So then be done. We either race in the rain or we don't.
Oh, because you and I agree on that.
And what you can't do is determine one way or another whether that was right, because then your teams that pitted, they got screwed. And that's the whole deal with NASCAR and the way their cautions are. They need to have a ruling on it, right? Like it's the same thing going to football, which I know you don't watch, but it's the same as the pass interference call. You can't just make up when it's pass interference when it's not pass interference. You can't just make up when it's roughing the passer or not roughing the passer.
Well, you can't. Those are judgment calls. Well, those are judgment calls. You can't and you can't come in and say we're going to throw cautions in this instance, but we're not going to throw them in this instance because each of those, the things with cautions
leads back to Tyler Reddick's tire being on the infield where they let it run for
that should they as soon as that tire hit there, it should have been.
But it
should have been through, and it wasn't. And
Who won that race?
Fuck, if I could tell you, I don't know. What race was that? I don't even remember.
I'm trying to remember. I was just wondering
which
races that Chase won this year. I can't remember.
The first
was it Darlington?
Coda was the first race he won this year.
That's right.
It wasn't Darlington.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a mile and a half.
Darlington's a mile and a half we've been to in the last while. Dover?
No.
Maybe it was before that. I don't know.
Dover doesn't.
Anyway, we got to make our picks for Texas and wrap this up.
Yeah.
Madison's gonna have to watch all this. She'll be like, "Oh, you got an hour and a half into this whole thing." No, it'll be again though. To go to that point, Ray, I hear what you're saying. I'm not saying that NASCAR has it fixed. I'm saying that caution doesn't come out if nobody's out front.
And I disagree. I just think it, like I said, I think it got to a point that they realized
Would NASCAR cheat to put Chase Elliott into the playoff this year if he wasn't going to make it on his own?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's been too many years in the past where Dale Jr. should have been in playoffs and didn't make it. That some of the bigger names should have been in playoffs and didn't make, or could have been in the playoffs. I say should have, could have been in the playoffs, that they could have done something to manipulate it and they didn't.
Danica Patrick won the pole to Daytona 500.
I mean, I don't think NASCAR had anything did she cheat to do it? Very well possible, but I mean,
I don't know. So you believe that Jimmy Johnson finished 5th in Phoenix last year with the Chase guys finished 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, because look at the Hendricks cars at the end of the season. All of them, every one of them were running up front. Look at
he was the only Hendrick car out there. There was Chase Elliott and him. Where were the other Hendrick cars during that?
They were still in the top 10.
Were they?
Yes.
I'd have to go back and look.
Because
I'm saying, was that his best finish of the year?
Yeah, but he had some good runs, but he didn't have the finishes because he for some reason he became wrecky.
I don't believe for a half second that Jimmy Johnson finished 5th in Phoenix.
There's no way. I mean, what do you think they did?
I think other people lifted for him to be 5th.
Was that NASCAR's fault? And I can tell you right now, any competitor that's out on that track, they don't give a shit. It's Jimmy Johnson or Dale Earnhardt. If they're out there racing,
what do they get? What do they get?
The money.
Yeah. Jimmy Johnson didn't finish 5th in that race.
There's no way, man. I just don't see it because you look at all the Hendricks cars this year. They come out the gate strong. I mean, they've been
garbage. Now they're good.
They come out the gate right strong. Now. They come out the gate strong.
Ford was crushing everybody.
Not the first of the year. Ford hadn't done shit this year.
They've led, outside of Kyle Larson, they've led the most laps of anybody.
Who? Fords? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What two cars got taken out at Daytona that would have won the race?
You said earlier you can't count Daytona. It's a different beast.
Okay, but Logano and Larson, or Logano and Keselowski.
Yeah.
Keselowski and Logano have both won already this year. They've led for the first 10 races. The Fords between Blaney, Logano. Stewart Haas sucks. I don't disagree with you on that. Stewart Haas has done nothing, but the Penske team has been on fire all year.
Yeah, but they're not where the
back to our original podcast. We were picking Keselowski every single week.
They're not. Yeah, but he wasn't winning every single week.
He was in the top 3 every week.
I'm getting ready.
Where are they at now?
I'm getting ready to tell you. We're getting ready to find out. Hold on one second.
What are we finding out?
We're going to find out. I'm going to look at the points. I mean, that's how you tell. We can sit here and talk about this all day long.
Yeah, they've fallen off now, but yeah, Keselowski and Logano are both way up there.
They're falling off now. Okay, well, let's face it. Then Denny
and Blaney has a win too, right?
So, where's my mouse at? It disappeared.
So don't all 3 Penske cars have a win?
There it is. I'm getting ready to tell you. My memory, I can't tell you what happened last week.
30% of the races this year.
Denny Hamlin has 0 wins, is leading the points by 47 points.
Correct.
Kyle Larson has 3 wins. Chase Elliott has 1. Okay, these are the points. I'm gonna read these off in order. Kyle Larson has 3 wins. Chase Elliott has 1 win. William Byron has 1 win. Joey Logano has 1 win. So there's 1 Ford in the top 5.
Keep going.
Martin Truex Jr. 3 wins. Kyle Busch 1 win. Then you got Blaney 1 win, Harvick 0 wins, and Keselowski 1 win. That's your top 10. So
they have 3 in the top 10.
They got 4.
What?
They got 4. Logano's in there too.
There's only 3 drivers.
Logano, Blaney, Harvick, and Keselowski.
Oh, Harvick, yeah. So okay, that's Fords. I was just talking about the Penske cars each having a win.
Yeah, we were talking about Fords. But they okay, you got to win, but you got a win, but evidently the rest of your races aren't that great. You're not in the. I mean, if they're dominant as you said they were at the first of the year, they shouldn't be up front, up top, instead of the last 3 in the top 10.
Well, let's remember they all took each other out in the first race of the year.
I could care less about that.
The whole point.
It's about finishes. It ain't about
for sure.
I mean, well, let's talk. I mean, we can talk about.
Isn't about finishes.
Let's talk about
dominance. Is not about finishes.
Let's talk about Daniel Hemrick dominating Xfinity, right?
Daniel Hemrick?
Yeah,
he has been dominant in Xfinity. He ain't finishing for shit.
I was getting ready. Let's look at that.
But that doesn't mean he's not dominating races. That's like saying
he's third. He's third in points
with no wins.
Yeah, with no wins.
Because there's only a couple of Xfinity cars that are winning this year.
Yeah, I mean you've got every one of the Hendrick cars except Bowman are in the top 10, and Bowman's sitting in 11th.
Yeah,
I'm not a Hendrick fan. I've never been a Hendricks fan. Like I hated Jeff Gordon growing up. I mean, like we've talked about this before. I don't really have anyone that like is my team or my driver in Xfinity or in Cup right now.
So just
there's guys that I root for, but
hang on, I just want to make sure I understand this. So Hendrick is dominating, and they have 3 of their cars in the top 10, 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
So they're 75% in the top 10. Penske sucks, but they have 3 out of 3 or 100% of their cars in the top 10. I'm just trying to figure out where your math works. I'm just asking for a friend.
It works because the
how many Gibbs cars are in the top 10?
It works because the 3 Hendrick cars are 2, 3, 4, and the 3 Penske cars are 8, 9, 10. Or no, I'm sorry, 5, 8, 10.
How many Gibbs cars are in there?
3.
Correct.
But they're after the Hendrick cars.
Yeah.
You can do this statistics and math how you want to, but let me tell you. Let me tell you, like I told somebody this weekend, it got me in a lot of trouble. Facts trump feelings.
Oh, I'm not going off feelings. I'm going off facts.
No, you're not.
You're strictly going off finishes.
I'm strictly going off the point standings.
All right, that sounds good.
Let's look at this. What did Hendricks do yesterday that hadn't been done in 50 plus years?
I have no idea.
Finished 1-2 in the last 4 races.
Oh fuck! Who cares? You know what else? There's a statistic for everything.
It's not.
Right?
That's not a statistic. That's a fact. A statistic is 70-some% of people. That's a statistic.
Okay, that's a fact. Fine. Who's finding these facts? I could probably say that that I've driven more miles on my
look it
Dodge
up.
Ram than
There's
anybody else. I know, but my point is
documentation.
like finish 1-2 in 50 years. I couldn't name another set of drivers that finished 1-2 in the last 50 years. Who cares?
I mean, I'm just
Does that
telling you,
matter? Does that matter?
Yes, it just shows dominance.
Well, here's a fact for you. Chase Elliott comes from the back of the field to the front of the field because he doesn't pass inspection more than any other driver in NASCAR.
Okay. And?
That's a fact.
And
so my point is, like,
does he pass inspection after the race?
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know if they tear cars. What is inspection? I didn't really know what all they do.
They take the top 3.
We got to pick our people. I got to go to work. It's almost 8 o'clock.
See, this is the problem with doing this in the morning like this.
No, it takes us while going. We just got to start earlier. We can't go. We can't do an hour and a half. I don't want to do hour and a half podcasts all the time.
We don't have to, but like she said, we can always just cut this up and do whatever we want.
Well, we can cut it up, but we still have to do
stuff.
When
but when we're having a good discussion, we can't just be like, all right, we got it because of time. That irritates me. But whatever.
No, it's because I'm smart enough to know that this discussion's never going to go anywhere because it's a disagreement that's not going to lead anywhere.
And when you're losing the disagreement, you just quit.
How is it losing a disagreement?
I just said that to see what your reaction was.
I was going to say, just losing a disagreement. No, it's just not going to end. Because I don't even know what the disagreement is. I think the disagreement
is that Hendricks has been dominant all year, and you're like, no, Penske has.
And I don't agree that Hendricks has been dominant all year. And I'm saying Penske and Gibbs have both been as dominant as Hendrick. The last 5 weeks, I agree 100%.
But you made a comment a while ago. You were like, well, you're looking at the finishes and not the dominance. Okay, well, let's.
Oh, that's 5 races for sure.
Well, let's back up even farther than that. How many races should Kyle Larson have won? Think about this now. He should have won Atlanta.
Should have, but yeah.
But a while ago you were like, well, you're looking at the finishes. Look at the whole race. So and then there was Byron. I mean, let's see. Hold on one second.
Add up total points. Add up the total points.
Total point? Oh, you don't want to do that.
No, I'm just saying total the top 3 that they have and see how far of a difference they are. Because Denny Hamlin, quite frankly, Hamlin's dominating and he's not running well at all.
Well, I mean, he's been dominant in the first two stages of every race. He just can't finish it.
Dominance was Kyle Larson.
And here we go. The dominance factor to me, you can go up and win. You can at a 500 lap race, you can lead 499. Yes, are you dominant in the race? But did you win? No. If you can't finish, you got to finish it. And if you're not finishing it and getting those finishes, then you're not dominant.
So to end our argument, what you're saying is Hendrick is finishing up front more than other teams currently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is dominance.
I will say Kyle Larson's dominated the last 2 weeks. I will say that Kyle Larson is likely.
Hands down.
Yeah. I won't disagree with that at all.
Hands down.
And I would have said that when he was in the 42 car 2 years ago, that he was the most talented guy in NASCAR. That guy can drive anything and he can win in anything.
And proved it last year. I mean, he drove everything from a cup car to a sprint car to a late model, which he had never drove a dirt late model before, and went out and won his second ever event in Worlds of Outlaws.
So in the last 2 weeks, he's gotten into 4 different cars, and he's gotten 4 different checkered flags.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there's zero doubt that Kyle Larson is a complete and utter badass when it comes to driving a car.
Absolutely.
Now,
and
I will say this,
shotguns beers in victory lane,
which is yeah.
I'm
a Kyle Larson fan.
I am too. It's hard for me. Again, I'm sitting here having this argument about a team that I don't like. And I cannot tell you why I don't like him other than when Jeff Gordon came in and the whole.
It's because they're California.
I like Kyle Larson. I like Chase Elliott.
California.
I do.
Where's Chase Elliott from? He's Georgia. Yeah.
Dawsonville.
Yeah. Where's Jimmy Johnson from?
California.
Where's Jeff Gordon from?
California.
Where's William Byron from?
North Carolina. Charlotte.
Is he? I thought he was from Las Vegas.
That's Bowman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that they're West Coast teams.
Don't like William Byron. Don't like Keselowski.
Why?
I don't know. I just No, just not a fan of. I don't know. It's something. I don't know if it's. I don't know. Like Kyle Larson, I liked him in the 42, and I think it's because he at that time he wasn't as polished as he is now, right? I mean, he was making the.
Well, I'm assuming getting kicked out of the sport for a year.
Yeah, that changes you.
Probably got him a little different PR person.
Agreed.
Some of that stuff, yeah.
And Hendrick is a whole, Hendricks is a whole different ball game when it comes to that stuff too. I mean, they're not as stringent as Penske is, where you can't have any facial hair and you got to come to the track in these clothes and this, that, the other.
Oh, for real?
Oh yeah, Penske's you can't have think about
we're gonna do that at Wolfpack.
Oh, what everybody's got to have a mullet? Is that what we're
No, I can't go mullet. My hair just goes out. It doesn't go down.
Which I think that would be even
I
better.
had pit vipers on this weekend mowing yard.
Yeah. Which I think the afro would be even better than the
I can do an afro.
If I could grow an afro, I would grow an afro.
I wouldn't. It's hot. It's like wearing a stocking cap all the time.
Yeah, it would be great though. You in an afro though. I'm picturing like Bob Ross.
Maybe there's a happy tree.
Like,
I'd look good. I ain't got no curls.
You ain't got no curls?
Yeah,
How you grow?
I got
an
waves.
Without...
My hair just gets thick and goes up.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So
all right.
Pick for this weekend. I mean, what are we doing?
I don't even know how to pick.
Are we just picking, or are we just keeping up with picking, or are we just picking?
Well, at this point, I really don't know.
Yeah, nobody ever really kept up with it like we were supposed to, I don't think.
No, I mean, I think we're so far into this now that maybe we restart our picks for the second half of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like
how many races have we had now?
13, I think.
13. So we got 20 more, 20-ish more.
13 or 14, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure. How many races are around 36?
Something like that.
I'm not even sure. We got to be halfway. No, we're not halfway through.
No, we're not halfway. Yeah, no. Not halfway. Who's that?
That's Ryan.
Ryan. Oh, this
is his first time coming in. Yeah, it's his first day being here.
First day in the office.
It's my first day.
You can head up there. Molnix will grab you. Yeah.
Not literally grab him for any HR.
Yeah, for anybody listening to that. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
so we're doing this when office hours have begun now.
Yeah.
I don't know where Sadie is. I wonder if Sadie made it to work today. Sadie, are you here? Yeah, Sadie made it to work today.
Oh, she comes in the other door, huh? She doesn't come in.
She comes in the back door. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get Ryan trained too. It's just his first day. But everybody comes to this
door
first.
I was going to say train for what? Everybody comes through your door. Well, I think only Mullenix really.
The new pad is all laid out and stuff like that, so we're getting close.
They already poured the concrete.
All right, make these picks. I got to finish this shit. I got work to do.
I mean, again, it goes back. I mean, if
we're gonna start this shit at 5 a.m.
Oh, you going to do it while I'm laying in the bed? I mean, I'll call. I don't
care. We might as well. We're in your bedroom. That's where the fireworks are anyway.
That's where the fireworks are. I mean, if I want to pick Larson.
Well, that must be nice. Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if we're not keeping up and you can only pick them one time, or what's that mean? What is that?
Nothing.
Oh, the shocker. The shocker. So
that's fun. And who said you got to pick first?
I didn't say it.
The dominance that they've been established, and I'd be crazy not to pick Chase Elliott, right?
Elliott,
we're going to Texas. Reality of it is that I'll take this will be the shock of the day, right? We're going to Texas. I'll take Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Why wouldn't I?
Harvick.
Yeah, normally I would agree with that 100%. I can't pick him because they're just not good this year.
He would. I can't remember. Even
when they are good, like he was silent, running top 10 all day, and then boom, cars wrecked. So okay,
all right.
Well, I don't really have a good way of ending this, other than I'm probably going to get really drunk at least 1 to 3 nights this weekend at the track.
Oh, absolutely, 1 to 3 nights. I love how you always. So for those of you may have heard this conversation before, but a lot of times, so we'll get there on Friday night, or we get there Thursday night. So we'll probably, like I said, go to Big Shots, have a good time. We don't typically we don't have like a bang night the first night typically. We did in Dega though.
Yeah,
Well, Dega we just
did in
stayed
Dega.
up. Nah, Dega we didn't really throw down. We just stayed up late drinking, but it wasn't like a.
How about Daytona?
First night wasn't that bad.
The first night in Daytona?
I don't think so. Was it?
We cooked corn dogs at 3 a.m.
I can't. It runs together. Anyway, but you get to a point like Saturday night, you'll wake up Sunday morning. You're I'm not going to drink today. I'm not doing drinking.
Correct.
And then like by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it's like half a handle in, and we're having fun. So because I remember getting a phone call at Coda on Sunday morning. And you're like, "Dude, we stayed up all night. I'm not drinking today." Da, 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 da. And then I remember having a phone call that afternoon. You're like, or I sent you a text. I can't remember what happened. Something happened or whatever on the racetrack.
I had to drink to get my hangover to go away.
Yeah, I was like, "So how's that not drinking for you?" You're like, "I'm like 8 to 9 in."
Yeah.
So you're not drinking. Whenever you say you're not drinking, it's really.
So it makes it fun. You got to be able to survive.
That's true.
So be ready because we will go live from Coda. Anybody that's listening to this, or from Coda, from Texas.
Texas, yeah.
From the Big Frig Burnout Alley. We'll get Brock on here. We'll do a live thing with him.
It'll be good.
All Wolfpack at WolfpackRacingUSA.com. What the heck? Or not USA.com. Wolfpack Racing.
At Facebook.
USA.
And then, USA.
Oh, not at Facebook. Tiki-Taki.
Tiki-Taki. Yeah, but we're
going to get that to stick. Dude, it pisses Amanda off like it's nobody's business when I say that.
What, Tiki-Taki?
It's not Tiki-Taki, it's TikTok. And I'm like, no shit, I can read, but now that it annoys you. So now it's Tiki-Taki all the time. It's also the Google.
The Google.
Can you check the Google and see, like, that irritates her too? Yeah.
The Google.
So the Facebook just alerted me. So, all right, my 8 o'clock meeting's starting, so we got to bounce.
All right, so y'all.
Hey, where's Madison? I wonder if our new developer or director, what's her name now? Producer? Yeah. So you recorded all this for her, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Have fun, Madison. We're not funny. We'll get other people to be on here. That's more funny.
Well, how are we not funny? How are we not funny?
funny?
How are we not funny? We were having a great time.
Let's go to Texas. Get her.